That's who they chose to send to the podium. Flacco and Pickett. So guess who Kevin Stefanski is going to choose from QB1. Now, people have said there is no way that they can develop 4 quarterbacks. I don't even know. I need somebody to define develop, right? I need somebody to define what development of the QB and training camp looks like, because you have 4 and you put 2 to the podium. That's the 2 you're going to choose from. And people are saying Shedeur and Dylan are not going to get enough reps for people to definitively say one of them can play, which means they're already saying these are the 2 guys we going with for the season. Now, if somebody get hurt, we're going to go to the bench. Guess who's on the bench? Dylan is Shedeur. It's already reported that Dylan is Stefanski's favorite. So when he go to the bench, who's the number 3? Dylan Gabriel. So how Coach Prime going to be treated? I want to know what people are going to get a chance to see. They're going to be strategic. They're going to think about it. Everything that's already out there, they're in like assembly line form. You do the same thing. You do the same thing, right? Same thing. And Stefanski said yesterday when he was asked about first team reps, he said, we're not just developing one person. Who you think he was talking about? He said, we're developing lots of players at many positions, and that's just how it's going to go. He's not going to address Shedeur. People could ask him point blank, period. He's not going to answer the question. So nonverbal cues is what you need to understand what Cleveland got going on. Your starters are Pickett and Flacco. Your number 3 is likely Dylan. They don't care what you think about Shedeur, and they know too many people bought jerseys. So they think they're going to be able to sidestep it. Well, let's see. Tomorrow is a telltale day for the temperature in the room. Yeah, they might be outside, but they still going to be the barometer, the temperature in the room, right? So that's Flacco and Pickett, 1 and 2, Dylan 3, Shedeur 4. We're not saying it's a guarantee, but pay attention to the non-verbal cues. Stefanski don't even want to talk about the quarterback. He don't even want to talk about the most he's willing to say is we're not developing one person. And the person cut away. So the question, for the most part, cutting probably out about Shedeur. So that's what it is. But that's what we said it was going to be. So what that means is, based on nonverbal cues, they're going to have your boy on the bench. Unless tomorrow is an indicator of what people see, what they walk away with, and how they feel. If they pissed off, because to me, they just going to do what they did today. Well, we just letting everybody do the same thing. 1 through 4 does the same activity. It don't matter what position you play, 1 through 4 play the same activity. If they do that tomorrow in every open practice, that's how they're going to keep people at bay with what they think about Shedeur. Nonverbal cues, Flacco and Pickett. Number 3, Dylan. I feel like they've already told you everything that you needed to know from the time that they left mandatory camp and did not cut one person. They thought they were going to cut Shedeur. I think Shedeur thought they were going to cut him too, but they didn't because he emerged as the best. But is he going to be enough to start? No, he's not starting. I can stand here and say, I don't care what the hell happened in camp, Pickett and Flacco are starting. Dylan is the go-to if something go down. They only going to push Shedeur in if people hoop and holler about it. If they going to weave him in like DTR, they going to let him play against Baltimore and they think he going to lose. If they set Shedeur up like that, playing against, say, the Rams, and they're probably not going to do that, playing against Baltimore, against Lamar, put him out there with Lamar. That's what they did to DTR, and he lost. But DTR was a 5th-round pick, needed to be developed. They put him out there. Deshaun was there. He was ready to go. Why you let DTR play? Because that's what they do. The goal is to embarrass you. You wanted this? Here you go. Throw you out there. So you probably can guess the games that they would let Shedeur start. Choose the team that they think he would be embarrassed by if he loses, that he would lose. Then that's how you're going to figure out. Look at the 2023 season because they're getting ready to run it right back. They're going to rotate all of these quarterbacks with Pickett and Flacco leading the way. And then if something go down, somebody not playing right, we're going to give Dylan a try. For Shedeur to get in, the call going to have to come from above. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to have to come from above. So there you go. Flacco, Pickett, Stefanski ducking and dodging. Basically, Barry saying it's Stefanski's call. I trust him. We're going to be talking about that more than y'all will be. So they basically saying they still mulling it over. They haven't made a decision. So if you haven't made a decision, we should see Shedeur and or Dylan at the podium before training camp wraps up. Look for it. Look for it. All right. So that's Cleveland. That's Cleveland. I'm like, next, let's talk about the New York Giants. So we already heard what we already knew, right? Dart wasn't good yesterday. Not a surprise because why? We talked about this countless times. It was said he reached his ceiling in college, right? So what does that mean, right? Because right now, Russ to Malik is the cheat code. And the media is excited. And unlike other franchises, the New York Giants fan base is excited because they believe they can win with Russ. So let's get this. Let's get this, okay? Shedeur Sanders was supposed to be going to the Giants, even though we don't believe it. But if you let the media tell it, just like the media is forecasting Arch Manning to Cleveland, and none of us believe that either. The Giants forecasted the media forecasted Shedeur to the Giants, right? And we didn't believe that either. So here we go. The Giants defamed Shedeur Sanders starting at the combine and ramping up, coming out with all these anonymous sources that got exposed. Head coach on the record, trashing Shedeur about an interview. His mom, Miss Pilar, called it out. He backs the Giants backtrack off of that. They dismissed their scouts, which makes you think that the scouts said these things about Shedeur that turned out not to be true. Scapegoating. So they scapegoated their scouts. They made the public think, well, we got to fire somebody for this, so it's going to be the scouts. Why wasn't it the head coach? He was the one that said Shedeur was entitled. The scouts didn't tell him that because that's not nowhere on the scouting form, a scouting report entitled. There's nowhere where he circled that answer. So why does he still have a job? Because they scapegoated their scouts to say they gave us the wrong intel about Shedeur. That's a lie. All they did was defame Shedeur. We didn't hear them ever say anything about Shedeur's talent. We heard them say Coach Prime was going to be a problem. We heard them say Shedeur was entitled. He has an entourage. He flunked his interviews. That's all. We don't know what they think about his talent because they didn't tell us. They decided to tell us subjective information that had nothing to do with quarterback evaluations. So they decided to go with who? Jackson Dart. So basically, you threw Shedeur down in the ditch. You kicked him down in the ditch, and you went and grabbed and hugged and walked off into the sunset with Jackson Dart. But that is not working out. You ended up with Russ. And I told y'all, oh, they got the one. You got the right one right there. Because you thought you didn't want Shedeur, but you got Russ. And what did we say? They wanted Dart because of that Ole Miss connection to the New York Giants that run through the Manning family. And who said Arch Manning is going to Cleveland? Right. So here we go. You didn't want Shedeur. You threw Shedeur down in the ditch, in the trash. That was your franchise QB that could get you there. You wanted Dart, who reached his ceiling in college. And the way he looks in camp is exactly what people said he would materialize in. He's not good because when it comes under pressure, he panics, he freaks out. I told you that's up here. That's up here. And we said, well, maybe after mandatory mini camp, they'll get somebody to fix that because he was palling around with Eli Manning. Nope. They already back. It's day 1 or day 2 for New York. The report yesterday wasn't good. So you got Russ. You didn't want Shedeur because he got a lot of melanin. So you end up with Russ, who got a lot of melanin. See, that's what I mean. That's karma. See, you ran away from what you didn't want. You kicked it down. You defamed it. You trashed it so you could devalue it and have a justification for why you didn't want an elite first overall pick, Shedeur Sanders. And you thought it was going to be Dart until he turned out to be exactly who it is they said he was in college. And now you run right back into a black quarterback that's going to likely start. Now let's see how they're going to break that up. So Russ is not named the starter. Look at Cleveland 2023 and 2024. They rotated multiple quarterbacks to keep one. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.